Hello, everybody. Is anybody there today? Who is going to be the first person to greet us? All right. Welcome, everybody. As you are coming in, please endeavor to go and share the message. Okay. Paul Oriade is the first person here today. Welcome. Shinwe, welcome. Nice to see you. Daniel Atsenga. Все русскоговорящие пришли сначала. Выпускники Союза. Дети Советского Союза. Okay, welcome everyone. Kiro Jimadu, Davidenka Yuri. Welcome and go share the message, please. Wow, look who came in today. Bishop Eberiga is here with us. Yemi Adeyemo. Bishop, thank you so much for your word of support and congratulations to me. And you are very credible, and every one of your word is valuable. Thank you. Okay, she said the Daniel Asenga noticed my red today, right? The red is looking good, right? Well, he's the guy. You remember yesterday I spoke about this guy from Belarus that sent me some of his t-shirts. So yesterday was the black one, and I think it's called Stitches. That's his company. He has a company that's called Stitches, and fashion is a fashion designer from Belarus, and yeah, he's doing so well. His name is Eno, and actually let me do some advertisement for him before we start. Let me do some promotion for him, because he had faith enough to send me these things without even knowing what I do. But see what he does. He's doing a good job. Let me show you what he's doing. So he's participating in, let me try to put it this way. Yeah, we digited. Yeah, no. Can you see that is Belarus Fashion Week? That's the guy. Is doing the Fashion Week in Belarus. He's participating. He's participating in that country's Fashion Week, and he's not just participating. He's the first black fashion designer to win an award in Belarus. He's a Nigerian guy, and he's making history in Belarus. He's the very first Nigerian to win an award in Belarus fashion. So he's a designer, and he's participating in the contest in the Fashion Week. So he has his. So these are his girls, and he himself is showing his dress. These are his products, I guess. I went to his Facebook, and these are the things he's doing. So he started his own industry in this former communist country. I used to live in Belarus for 6 years myself, so maybe 7 years actually. And so I'm very happy, especially to know that a Nigerian is continuing where I stopped. And he's doing well. He's introducing his unique style and his unique fashion. I don't know if Julie will be there today. Julie also wants to do something similar. I think Julie needs to get to know this guy. And maybe Nzenwa as well, and Dennis. They need to get to know him, because he's really making a good stride. He's stepping up, and he's not letting himself be intimidated. Being a black man in that country, the only black man that is working, is stepping out, is doing his design, is dressing people, getting his friends to go out, is participating in the competitions, and he's winning medals. And a Nigerian Eno in Belarus that is stepping out, is a believer He's doing a good job. He started his own fashion lane. Is it fashion lane you call it? And that is the fashion industry. You see, Belarus Fashion Week. He's participating. He's taking the country by storm and stepping out in faith. He's designing his own stuff. This is his award there. You see him holding his award. Yeah, he's a student actually. He's a student, but he's not letting that limit him. I think he's doing ministry as well among the students. I think he's leading a fellowship or a church, and he's also developing his fashion industry. He's part of our family here, DSA family guy. So that's him there with some of my pastors over there. I have a few pastors in Belarus. Those are some of them. And yeah, I know he's great. You see, that's he and his team, or what they call his girls. His what they call the model girls that are coming on stage. They are on the podium. Oh, I think he's here now. Is he not? Is it? No, it's not the one here. I thought he's on with us right now. Maybe he's I don't think he's the one. I think his Facebook is probably called. I will find out what his Facebook is called, and we'll talk about that. If I could find what he called what his Facebook is, so that you people could go there and fellowship with him and relate with him. Oh yeah, I think it's called Stitches ST. Somebody can write it. Can somebody write the email of this guy? I mean the Facebook of this guy is called STITCHZ projection. Stitches projection, like projection, Stitches projection. So he's doing a good job. I'm proud of him. He's in Belarus. Yes. Stitches projection. Yeah. Paul Ashupofo just wrote it, but it's written separately. Yeah, Shinwe wrote it right. No, only Shinwe doesn't have Z at the end. Paul wrote it right, but it just has to be separated. Yes. Stitch projection. Right, that's right. So he's a Nigerian guy in Belarus. He's making this kind of stuff. And what he has written here is Jesus is alive. Jesus is alive. That's what he has written on in Russian language. All right. Now let's continue. We have Olena here with us. Olena Stebeska is ready. She is our host, and she's bringing another person to testify today. And here you are.
Добрий вечір усім.
Good evening, everyone.
Раді вас бачити на черговій нашій зустрічі.
Nice to see you in another program of ours today.
Ми продовжуємо вам розповідати незвичайні історії з життя звичайних людей.
I want to present you with another story, very interesting story of how their life was changed.
Де ми дізнаємося про вплив пастора Сандея у житті українських людей.
Our Pastor Sunday ministry is changed the life of our people here in Ukraine and our nation.
І сьогодні у нас в гостях громадський діяч, кандидат історичних наук Елла Степченко.
And Ella Stepchenko, who is our visitor today, is also a lecturer in the university, a PhD holder and lecturer in the university here in Ukraine, and a member of the church.
І директор освітньо-культурного центру розвитку творчих особистостей.
She's also the director of Culture House, of the Art House, yes. Art School, Art House in
Добрий
Ukraine.
вечір.
Good evening, she say.
Елла, ми говоримо про ювілей пастора Сандея. Наш марафон присвячений якраз дню народження ювілейному, і ми говоримо про роль пастора в житті вашому і інших людей.
By the way, these two ladies that are here today are both intellectuals. Both of them are lecturers They are PhD holders and they are department heads in their universities. So they are smart ladies here.
І скажіть, будь ласка, як ви вперше познайомилися з пастором, як ви прийшли в церкву, що вас привело в церкву посольства? Розкажіть нам свою історію.
So how did you get to the embassy of God? How did you get to meet pastor?
Дякую.
Thank you so much.
Я вже знайома з пастором Сандеєм більше 5 років.
I've known Pastor Sunday now for over 5 years.
І вперше я познайомилася саме в його домі. Це був жіночий ретріт.
I got to know Pastor Sunday in his house. I came to attend one of his programs in his house here, and he was teaching the women how to be a woman, how to be a worthy woman.
Пастор Сандей тоді тільки розпочинав проводити різні ретріти.
Yep.
Що це таке? Це коли збираються люди і протягом 3-4 днів дуже інтенсивно дається дуже цікава інформація. Саме от цей ретрит жіночій тематиці. Я жінка.
So I'd never met Pastor Sunday before, but when I heard that he was teaching women how to be women, who is a man that is teaching women how to be a woman? And so I decided to attend, even though I didn't know him, but I attended, and it was in his house. So I came with a lot of ladies to his house to participate in this HMT, and that's how I got to know him, and that's what changed my life, and I knew that I should never leave the church after that.
Я нещодавно прийшла до церкви «Джерело зцілення», мій пастор Шевченка Олена, і я жінка, і вона мене запросила на цей ретріт саме для того, щоб я і познайомилася з пастором Сандеєм.
I'm so grateful to my pastor who is one of the pastors of the Embassy of God Church here, one of the daughter churches, Pastor Helena, and she's the one who invited me to this women's retreat where I met Pastor Sunday.
І на цьому ретріті дійсно відбулося вже певні зміни в моїй свідомості, тому що на той час я пішла від чоловіка.
And it was that HMT that totally changed my life. It just turned my life upside down. My mindset was totally changed. My consciousness was awakened because I was living with my lover at that point. I was, living with a man. And but after that HMT, I couldn't go back to live with that man. I packed out of the house and I stopped living in sin.
І вже почала жити з іншим чоловіком. Насправді, шукаючи щастя не в своїй реалізації, тому що весь час у мене було питання, в чому моє призначення. Я шукала себе.
So, but with me is that as a lady who is attractive and I had been married once before, and this other lady that this other man that I was living with was my second man, but I was not married with him. I was just living with him because I was thinking, like most women in the world are thinking, that I needed a man, and to be happy for a woman, that a woman needs a man. So even though I left my husband because I was so much in love with this other man, and I was living with him out of wedlock. But when I got to the HMT with Pastor Sunday and talking about women, I discovered that a woman's joy and a woman's happiness, a woman's fulfillment is never in another person. And a woman's fulfillment is never in something outside of herself. And that the fulfillment of a woman is something that is within her, that she has to find and discover within herself. So instead of me to discover myself and my fulfillment within me, I was looking for it in a man. And that was my mistake. But when I listened to Pastor for 3 days, because for 4 days I was living here with all the ladies for 4 days, after that I was done. I just went and packed my load from the man and I just walked out from there.
На той момент можна було подивитися, що життя моє успішне насправді. Я вже мала сім'ю і донечку, і була вже кандидатом історичних наук, але все рівно я не відчувала повністю себе реалізованою. Мені хотілося щось робити дійсно значуще в цьому суспільстві.
You see, when people have so low self-esteem, that is when they fall into all kinds of deception and all kind of error. Like in my own case, it's not that I was not successful, it's not that I was not doing well. Can you believe it? I was already married, I was divorced, I left him, I was having an intensive life and fell in love with another man, went to that, but I had a daughter. So I have my daughter, I was fulfilled as a woman in that sense. But then besides that, I was a lecturer in the university, I was a PhD holder, I was fulfilled in my career, I was doing well, I had a school, and I was heading a cultural center, and so I was fulfilled as a human being. But because of mindset and low self-esteem and because we don't know these things that Pastor teaches us, I was still thinking that I needed a man, and that is the problem. When you don't know the truth, you are bound to keep on making mistakes.
І саме на цьому ретріті мене торкнулася така тема, з якої почав пастор. Вона була дуже незвичайна. Как бы не быть свиноматкой. Женщины, не будьте свиноматкой. Це було дуже цікаво, жахливо, як можна піднімати таке питання. І це було для мене незвичне. І пастор на цьому ретріті якраз і показував, що стосунки між чоловіком і жінкою будуються зовсім по-іншому, не так, як будуються вони в нашому суспільстві.
Of course, Pastor shocked me in that HMT for women, because he was telling women that women should not allow themselves to be assessed by their womb. Don't let people assess you by your womb. Don't let all your worth be connected with the fact that you give birth or you don't give birth. Don't let your private part be what describes your identity. Give yourself an identity besides your sex. Give yourself an identity besides your womb. Give yourself your identity besides your sexuality. Why should you allow the world and people to assess you just because you are a woman, that you are a woman? Is that the only thing you could be? That's just a small part of your life. Be a human being, first of all. So she said, how could that was a shocking concept to her. That how could you tell a woman that she should not rely on that to be the way that she's being assessed? But at the end of the day, Pastor is right, because sooner or later you are going to lose your cutting edge as a woman. So people are not going to be paying attention to you as such anymore. People are going to be paying attention to the younger ladies, and then you are not going to be as attractive as you used to be. And then a time is coming when you are not going to be giving birth anymore anyway. You are not going to be marrying anymore. So, it's true. I thought about it that, he's right. He's right. My value is much more than either being a wife, or somebody's wife, or somebody's mother. No, I am a personality by myself. That totally shocked me and just made me to reassess my whole philosophy of life.
Пастор рассказывал, как он делал предложение своей супруге, пастору Боссе. Он рассказывал, как он заботится о ней, как он заботится о своих детях, как он воспитывает детей. И это очень коснулось меня тогда. Я поняла, что что-то не так происходит в моей жизни, в моих отношениях с моим бывшим супругом, с моим теперешним супругом, мы жили в гражданском браке, тоже неправильно. И поэтому для меня этот ретрит был для меня настоящим переворотом. И знакомство с пастором Сандеем также было чем-то необычным.
So that was My first time of meeting Pastor Sunday, he just shook me out of my comfort zone. It totally blew me up out of my philosophy of life, out of my belief system, out of my concept. Everything was just blown away. Pastor Sunday told me how a real relationship is supposed to be built. Pastor Sunday spoke to me about, share with all of us about how, he met his own wife, how they built their own relationship, and the principles of how family is supposed to be built. And I look back in my own life, I saw the way I built my own first family, and I just understood why that family collapsed. Then I now looked at the relationship I was building with the man I was living with, and I just knew that I was doing everything wrong. And that was why I came back from that HMT, and I just packed my load out of that house, and I left the man.
Я поняла, что я познакомилась с необычным человеком, и это необычная церковь, и так как это было еще в начале моего пути, знакомства, я поняла, что здесь есть что-то настоящее, действительно то, что может меня вообще изменить, и я действительно смогу делать что-то значительное настолько, что моя жизнь не будет пустой, она приобретет настоящий смысл.
And that was, at that point, I knew that this is an unusual church and that I've met the most unusual human being in my life. I thought I already knew something. I was already grown up. I was already a lecturer in the university, like I said. I was already doing well. I was already successful in the society, but I never met an individual like this. 3 days meeting or 4 days meeting with this man just totally changed. I changed all my value system. I was ready. And for a woman, it's not easy to pack out her things and leave a husband's house or leave a man's house. Because the man was, also taking care of me financially and providing for my needs and for my daughter. And my daughter was already calling him a father and all that. But because of the impact of Pastor Sunday, his influence, the influence of his word and the weight of his words, I just knew I could not live any longer in sin. I could not continue to live like that with that my man, my lover. And I just knew my whole life was supposed to be totally changed, and just from a meeting with a man. And this is the kind of thing that happens to people when they encounter Pastor Sunday.
И я была очень благодарна моему пастору Елене Шевченко, которая устроила нам личную встречу. Я могла пообщаться с пастором и могла лично услышать его мнение по отношению к тому, как я живу, что гражданский брак — это не то, это неправильно, надо по-другому строить свою жизнь.
So after the HMT, I begged my pastor, my friend who brought me here, who is now my pastor, to arrange a meeting with me and Pastor Sunday. And, I thought it was a big thing. And it happened so easily. Pastor Sunday received me and gave me personal consultation about the fact that it's a sin to live out of wedlock with a man. That it's a sin to be engaged in sexual activities when you are not married to the person. And he totally assured me that the only right thing to do was to pack out. So I came out of the HMT and moved out of the house of the man.
И тогда пастор сказал мне: ты такая красивая, и что происходит в твоей жизни? Бог для тебя приготовил великое призвание. Тебе нужно просто быть с Богом, и тогда у тебя все получится.
Amen. Then pastor assured me that I was okay, that I was beautiful. That if it is the will of God that I will still get a man, that God will give me a man, and that the man is not my priority, that I shouldn't make a man my priority, or a husband my priority, or children my priority, that those are not the real main reasons why God created us, that my main purpose of being created is to discover my calling, and that I was running after the wrong stuff, that I was supposed to first of all discover my calling before I begin to think about all other things. And so that's what I decided to do, and things are working out just great for me, without a husband, without a family, but I'm just fulfilled just by myself and my calling, just getting fulfillment from becoming who God created me to be.
Вот так я впервые познакомилась с пастором Сандеем, и после этого мне захотелось узнать побольше о нем, его идеи, его книги, его учения. И дальше так все и продолжалось.
Well, that was my meeting, my first meeting with Pastor Sunday. Not an easy meeting for me. It was a life-changing experience for me, and but I thank God that it happened because after I left my husband's house, or after I left the house of the man I was living with, I just had a hunger to discover myself. So I wanted to discover myself. I wanted to discover what I was created for. I began to know that I had to put the priority of my life should not be a man, should not be a husband, should not be children, should not be family. My priority of my life must be God. God must be number one. And fulfilling His will and accomplishing His purpose and doing what He created me for must now begin to take the first place in my life. So I started studying Pastor Sunday's books. I started, looking for all his teachings. I wanted to know everything more about Pastor Sunday. I wanted to study him, his teachings, his doctrines. I just began to get a lot of freedom from his teachings, and I got set free from that man. And what I used to call love, that I was addicted to him, his family, and all that. I just got set free from it. My mind was cleared, and I now could pursue what God created me for.
Зустріли пастора Сандея, ваш поворот на 180 градусів в житті, я так зрозуміла, розвернувся. І скажіть, будь ласка, як поетапно почало мінятися ваше життя і які ви сьогодні маєте результати?
Okay, now Ella, you've told us how you met Pastor Sunday, how you changed your priority in life, and but what are the changes that began to take place in your life afterwards?
Значит, изменения произошли кардинальные, потому что самое главное, что произошло, это то, что я начала верить Богу, я начала молиться, я начала читать Слово, чего не делала раньше. Я искала Бога, но настолько я не знала его. И из книг про...
The most important transformation that happened in my life is the fact that I began to know that God is real. I thought I was a believer because I believed God existed somewhere. But after meeting with Pastor Sunday, I began to discover that no, it's not just existing somewhere, that it's actually there, that I could relate to Him. So I began to relate with God and to walk with Him as my personal Lord and Savior, began to hear from Him and read His Word, just discover Him and learning more of Him. So that's the most important change that began to happen in my life first.
И когда на служениях я слышала, как пастор говорит, как он рассказывает о Боге, как он сам ходит перед Богом, это очень касалось меня. Мне хотелось еще больше и больше узнавать, как достичь такого тоже влияния, такого движения в жизни, как также продвигаться по жизни, потому что я чувствовала всегда себя особенной какой-то, но как реализовать себя, я не знала, я не понимала. И чем больше я видела пастора, чем больше я слушала его проповеди, читала книги, тем больше я понимала, что только с Богом, только когда ты именно близко с Богом, только когда ты ходишь перед Ним и познаешь Его глубоко, тогда только ты и можешь осуществить то, что Он для тебя приготовил.
Another major difference in my life that started to happen is that I began to listen to Pastor more. And the more you listen to Pastor Sunday, the more you discover that you never lived. And then everything you called life before then was just an experiment. That you are just struggling through life. You are not living. I was just struggling. I was just experimenting my life. I was just trying to make a living. And if you're trying to make a living, you don't live. So what I was doing was just trying to make a living. I was not alive. But when I began to listen to Pastor more and more, what I discovered is that this man has the keys of life. He has the ABCs of life. He has the formula for life. He knows exactly the principles that you must apply, that you must, follow and abide by to be able to live a full life. So I began to discover those principles and began to derive joy from life. I began to discover that life is possible and that life is easy and that life is exciting. And because I had always known that I must do something special on earth in my life. I would always saying that I was special. That I was going to do something in my life that was original, that was great. But I never knew. Nobody teaches you how to become somebody of significance. Nobody teaches you the steps to take to really fulfill yourself. Nobody teaches you in life. So I went to university. I finished university. I finished my master. I finished my PhD. I became a lecturer in the university. I was doing everything, but nobody was taking me by the hand to show me how to live life and excel in life. But when you begin to listen to pastors teaching over and over again, you just know that it's easy. With his teachings, he just your eyes open. You begin to see the way and the pathway to become anything that you wish to become and everything you've ever dreamt of becoming. And that is what began to happen with me. I just began to see possibilities everywhere. And that's the great second thing that has happened to me, just being around Pastor Sunday, listening to him, seeing the way he does things, and just following him, just makes life possible.
И когда я защищала диссертацию, я понимала, что я люблю историю, но что-то мало это для меня. Я очень любила общаться с людьми, я очень любила общаться с детьми. И я стала молиться, и для меня стало очень важно получить именно волю Божью для меня. Не делать то, что мне хочется, и то, что, допустим, престижно по мнению людей, а именно сделать то, что необходимо Господу, чтобы я осуществила. И тогда Бог открыл для меня действительно, что мне необходимо заниматься детьми, мне необходимо их развивать. И так как я искала в жизни свое призвание, я знаю, что многие дети тоже ищут себя, и родители очень многие не видят тех способностей, которые Бог дал этим детям. И поэтому, когда дети ищут, самое главное — увидеть Божий промысел и помочь.
So while I was listening to Pastor Sunday this way, then I discovered that I could actually find out my calling, and that I could know exactly what God created me for. You see, that was what I was trying to find, but nobody tells you these things. Even though I was a PhD holder, lecturing in the university, I knew all the professors, but nobody could tell you who you're supposed to be in life. And so when I discovered who I was, and I began to listen to pastors' teaching on how to discover who you were, then I knew that, okay, even though I love my subject that I teach in the university, I teach history in the university, but I also discovered that I became a lecturer in the university because I wanted to be respected in the society. I wanted to be an academic, and I wanted people to respect me. So I was actually pursuing people's respect, people's opinion, other people's opinion, rather than what God wanted me to do. So after listening to pastors' teachings, then I decided to look into myself, and I discovered that what I really I would have desired to do most of all is to have a school for children where I could help all these children realize their calling and their potential while they're still young. So I knew that I had a burden for them, but I was in the university. So I decided to start a center, a school, like extracurricular school, like after school kind of center. So that is called the Art Center. So the art center that I have, you could come, the parents could bring all their children, and we'll be teaching them the art and culture. But actually, the most important thing that we are teaching them is how to discover themselves while they are still very young. So apart from my lecturing job, I have this school now, this center, that is called the Art Center, where we teach through art, we help children to discover their callings.
И я рассказала то, что я услышала от Бога об этой идее своему пастору или Елене, а пастор посоветовала рассказать также пастору Сандею. Вот. И когда я рассказала об этом на общении, то он сказал: да, у тебя все получится. И действительно, все получилось.
Yes, I never knew that it could work out. I shared it with my pastor, and my pastor said, talk to the senior pastor, Pastor Sunday. Pastor Sunday gave me the faith to go ahead, and now we have one of the best art schools in the land.
И получилось это еще и потому, что это был год возможностей, который высвободил пастор и сказал, что 2015 год возможностей. Я услышала это, я прям приняла это внутрь себя и поняла, что этот год действительно мой год, год возможностей. И именно в этом году я смогу достичь то, о чем мы уже много молились.
Another reason why I feel that it came, all those, my dreams and everything came out so fast and so easily is probably because, pastor always gives us the faith to go ahead for things, so, even when you think that you might not be able to do it, when you think that, it might not work out for you and that you are too weak or you are not strong enough to do it, or the vision is too big for you, but the faith and the impartation that you get from listening to pastor just makes you to even begin to believe that, even when you never believed before, it makes you to begin to believe that yes, you're going to make it, it's going to work out. So pastor's word make us, when we don't believe that we can do things, we begin to believe once again that I can, it's possible.
И я хочу вам сказать, что самое главное, когда вы что-то начинаете, когда вы идете вперед, чтобы вам сказали «да», у тебя получится, мы верим в тебя. И именно эти слова я и услышала от пастора. Он сказал: у тебя получится. И это действительно придало мне уверенность. И он сказал, что с тобой Божья воля, все получится так, как Господь определил для тебя. Если ты в Божьем плане, значит у тебя все получится.
We all need somebody like that in our lives. Someone who will be able to push us forward. Someone who will be able to make us to believe in ourselves. Somebody who will be able to instill faith and confidence in us. Someone who will believe in you and push you to your own when you even don't believe in yourself. Someone who will push you into your destiny, who will push you into your calling, who will, instill so much faith in you that you cannot fail. Someone who will believe in you when you don't believe in yourself. And that's what Pastor does with every one of us. If not for his faith, I wouldn't have stepped out. I never even knew I was capable of doing something like this. But because he believes in us so much, encourages us, pushes us, now for me, it seems as if it's easy.
И Господь начал делать что-то невероятное. Он начал прикладывать ко мне людей, которые были заинтересованы в том, чтобы я открыла этот центр. И во время, когда в нашей стране была война, когда мне мои друзья говорили, что я сошла с ума, что у меня ничего не получится, что я одна, но я знала, что я не одна, со мной Господь. И действительно мы открыли центр в 2015 году, 1 сентября мы открыли образовательно-культурный и спортивно-оздоровительный центр, где заработало 25 новых направлений, и они постоянно развиваются.
Вау, сейчас 25?
Да.
Yeah, so one thing that I've also noticed is that when you step out in faith, that God begins to bring your helpers of help towards you. It begins to bring help your way. God begins to make people come across you that he has prepared for you. So actually, most of the time, what God is expecting us to do is just to believe. God just wants us to trust him and to step out. You need to do the first step. When you take the first step, God knows who to bring from every direction. God knows all the people that have the same mandate or that have some contribution to do, that have something to contribute to what you have and what you are doing. And that's what began to happen in my own case. So I started out by myself, just trying to do an art center, just using art and different kind of skills and talent to raise up the kids. Right now, we have 25 directions in our center. So it's not just art, it's sports, it's dancing, it's drawing, it's all English language, it's or 25 different directions where all our children, like 25 faculties, 25 different faculties, thanks to the fact that I stepped out with one. So because God kept on bringing people from every direction, and they were introducing, let's introduce this one, let's do this and that one, let's do this and that one. So 25, all the children, they are different, 25 different categories in our center right now. So you could bring your children to any one of them. Just choose. Take as many categories as you want because you stepped out in faith. That's from nothing. From nothing, now we have what we have.
И я очень хочу поблагодарить моего пастора Елену Шевченко за молитвы, за нашу команду за молитвы. И очень хочу поблагодарить пастора Сандея также за то, что он поверил в меня, за то, что он направил меня, и за то, что все получается.
So I want the opportunity, of course, to thank my pastor for bringing me here to pastor. And I want to thank Pastor Sunday for teaching me, for believing in me, and for pushing me to step out. And now I know everything is possible.
Елла, завдяки пастору Сандею у вас сталося реалізуватися, стати успішною людиною, і він дав вам путівку в життя, я так зрозуміла. Як би ви охарактеризували особистість пастора?
How will you characterize Pastor Sunday? Who is he?
Ну, я уже говорила, что пастор веселый, он очень добрый, он очень чуткий.
The most lively person you ever met. He brings life to any environment. He's very веселый, еще что?
Добрый.
Very kind, very lively.
И он очень замечает людей.
And he notices everything, especially people.
Он делает комплимент, даже если что-то изменилось немного. И это очень ценно, потому что...
Pastor notices everything about you, and he does his compliment. Even when only a little thing has changed, he notices it, and he doesn't miss an opportunity to compliment you.
Это говорит о том, что он замечает каждого человека.
So he doesn't pass by people. Pastor, people are very, very valuable. They are not just like furniture that you pass by to him.
И это говорит о том, что он почитает каждого человека.
Pastor honors every individual. He himself honors people so much that he honors them, that he reduces himself to pay them homage.
Меня очень тронула одна тема на общении, когда мы разбирали тему о любви, действительно Христовой. И пастор сказал, что любовь не раздражается. И он именно это и являет. Я его никогда не видела раздраженным.
And once recently, pastor taught about love, that love is not easily provoked. And that is one thing I've noticed with pastor. I never saw him angry. I never saw him provoked. I never saw him irritated. He's never irritated.
Но если серьезно, то пастор Сандей настоящий лидер.
But to talk about more serious stuff, Pastor Sunday is the greatest leader I've ever met.
Почему настоящий? Потому что только настоящий лидер может дать возможность другому человеку опереться на него, чтобы возрасти, чтобы подняться. Он готов стать лестницей для других людей.
Pastor Sunday is the real demonstration of leadership. He is the definition of leadership, because it is only a real leader, a great leader, that will make himself available for others to use him. And that's what pastor does. Pastor, lies down and tells others to step on him to their purpose. Pastor makes himself available that people should use him. Everything he has built with his life, with his time, with his resources, with his energy, he makes them readily available for anyone. You don't need to be special. Anybody to take advantage of him and use him to accomplish their goals.
И еще пастор смелый, потому что он не боится человеческого мнения, он боится только Бога и Его мнения. И он знает, что его ждет и ждало и позор, и одобрение. И он нас этому учит, и нам показывает, что когда мы идем вперед, нам надо знать, что будет и люди, которые будут за нами идти и будут нас хвалить, но также будут люди, которые будут недовольны, которые будут завидовать, которые будут даже попирать.
Another thing I would like to say about Pastor Sunday is that Pastor Sunday is very bold. He's very, very bold. Because the reason I said he's bold is because he does anything he feels God is telling him to do. He goes ahead and just keeps on pursuing his goals, and he does it when people are praising him. He goes ahead and does what he needs to do. But when people are abusing him, when people are disgracing him, when people are spoiling his name, he just goes ahead non-stop. He just pursues what he needs to do. He just keeps on doing what he needs to do. He doesn't want, no matter what the reaction of the people are. Some people like him, some people hate him, and he doesn't stop. He doesn't allow the praise of people to stop him, and he doesn't allow the hatred of people to stop him as well. He does not allow the people who are his enemies to stop him, and he doesn't allow his friends to stop him as well. Pastor is just bold enough to pursue the purpose and the intention of God for his life, no matter what.
А также пастор Задей очень глубокий человек, и он постоянно занимается самообразованием, и этому учит нас также. И он касается тем таких невероятных и потрясающих, допустим, кому нужен хромой. Это тема, которая меня очень коснулась, что мы должны обращать внимание на разные категории людей. Его книга «Закон отличий» говорит о том, что все люди достойны, все люди особенные, уникальны, они все созданы Богом, и каждый человек достоин почтения. И поэтому он это делает сам, он учит нас этому. И тот, кто слышит, тот, кто берет, тот, кто хочет учиться, тот учится.
The thing is that Pastor Sunday is very, very deep. He's a very, very deep thinker. He's a very, very deep thinker. Every thought that he brings, every revelation that he brings, and all the teachings that he brings are so detailed. If you begin to listen to Pastor's teachings, any series, you will be surprised at how he could go so deep, how he could break everything down to the minutest details. He pays attention to details, he breaks them, he reaches the bottom of any deal. And especially his book, when he was talking about the law of difference. Wow. And that book is going to come out, by the way, at the anniversary this month. The law of difference. And how to know difference in people, how to honor the difference in people, how to just the way Pastor lives is the way he teaches. What he teaches us is exactly what he does. And all his teachings, just any one of them. Don't just follow one teaching, take the whole series. By the time you go through the whole series, you will never even know that such depth existed, or that depth is possible. Because, it goes to the depth of any subject to the extent that you will think, wow, this is just too much now.
А еще пастор очень дисциплинированный и учит нас также этому. И благодаря своей дисциплинированности он может достигать многого. И это говорит, его результаты, плоды говорят об этом. Это книги, это проповеди, это ретриты, это встречи, это сейчас общение в Фейсбуке и общение с нами. Это очень много. Когда ты начинаешь что-то делать, ты понимаешь, что это колоссальное усилие.
Another thing, by the way, if you have not yet shared the message, let's go ahead and share this message. Let's go ahead and share this broadcast, please, everyone. You go and look for a way to share it, go and press the share button. So another thing I've noticed in pastor is the pastor is very disciplined. He's so disciplined that he could hold on to so many things at the same time. You will always just wonder, how come pastor succeeds in being everywhere and doing everything? He's everywhere and doing everything. It's like he's the senior pastor of this church. There's hundreds of churches under him, hundreds of pastors under him, thousands of leaders under him, thousands of members in this country. And then he has time for every one of us. Individually, he has time for us. He's doing so many things. He's doing training, he's doing teaching, he's doing seminars, he's doing HMT, he's doing, this fellowship with you on Facebook, live broadcast, is doing writing books, is doing TV, is doing just a whole number of stuff that you just wonder, how can one individual be able to do so many things? And the key is discipline. It's discipline. You have to be disciplined with your time, and you have to be on top of your every minute. That's what Pastor teaches us, and that's exactly what he practices.
И также пастор добрый, пастор, который заботится о нас.
Another thing I would like to say about pastor is that pastor is so kind. He's so kind. He cares for everyone. He cares for every one of us.
Чтобы каждый мог состояться.
He cares that every one of us will be successful, and he's doing everything for it. He's giving the last of himself to make sure that every one of us, attains his full potential.
Елла, скажіть, будь ласка, а які основні принципи вам допомагають жити, робити те, що ви робите, які ви навчилися у пастора?
What are the main principles that you think are helping you, that you have learned from pastor?
То, что я говорила о пасторе, я стараюсь применять также и к себе.
I try to learn from pastor. All the things that I see in him, I try to learn them. I try to copy them.
Стараюсь себя дисциплинировать.
I try to be disciplined, just like I've seen with
Особенно после прочтения книги «Один день. Картина всей вашей жизни».
The pastor has a book that is called One Day, the Picture of Your Whole Life. After I read that book, I just knew, wow.
Иллюзия занятости.
Another book of pastor that really challenged me is the illusion of, the rat race. It's called rat race. So I just knew that no more rat race.
И также все те принципы, о которых я говорила, о почтении, книги «Почтение. Путь к величию».
Other principle that I use that pastor has taught us is the principle of honor. And honor is the highway to elevation. And I try to practice that as well.
Этот принцип действительно для меня новый, потому что раньше я мало проявляла почтения к людям.
That was a revelation to me, because I never knew how to respect people. I never bothered about respecting anybody. But after listening to that training of pastor, that changed.
Конечно, проявляешь почтение к начальникам, к старшим, но к людям всем это новое для меня. Теперь я очень стараюсь и работаю.
I'm working on myself to respect everybody. That's very difficult for me, but I'm really trying my best.
Это благодаря пастору, действительно.
And that's thanks to pastor, really.
А также очень сильные книги о любви. Это настоящая, истинная или ложная любовь. Это действительно открыло для меня то, что мы не знаем, что такое настоящая любовь. В нашем мире мы привыкли сюсюкаться с кем-то. Это и есть настоящая любовь. Но настоящая любовь — это глубже. Это действительно уметь человеку служить другому. Вот истинное понимание любви.
There is another pastor has, it's called a true and false love. And whatever we used to call love was actually false love. And it's pastor that has taught us to discover what real love is about. And so that's another area where I'm trying to copy pastor.
Также коснулась меня книга «Искусство самоуправления».
Another book of pastors that changed me is the art of self-management.
Да, я поняла, что даже не мы Бога избираем, а Он нас избирает. И нам надо научиться, уже когда Он нас избрал и нам показал, что мы должны делать, теперь наша задача себя так организовать, чтобы мы шли смело и достигали.
So thanks to that teaching, I began to understand that you need to organize yourself. The fact that God has called you or chosen you doesn't mean anything. God has chosen everybody, but not too many people are successful. So you need to manage your life and organize your life.
И в этой книге, а также в книге «Как быть здесь и сейчас» я увидела и узнала, что надо быть всегда в осознанном состоянии, надо анализировать, надо думать, надо все время пребывать именно в состоянии, когда ты здесь и сейчас.
Another book of pastors that really transformed me is the one that is called How to Be in the Here and Now. And that book, by the way, is also coming out this month for my 50th birthday. That's what taught me to be alive every minute. I never ever knew that you needed to live a conscious life. And that's how I got to learn to do that.
Да, также потрясающая книга «Закон отличий», где говорится о том, чтобы мы обращали внимание на каждого человека, о ней я уже немного упоминала.
Yeah, I spoke already about another book, The Law of Difference, that, we should honor everyone. We should pay attention to the difference in people and celebrate people's difference.
В работе с детьми в моем детском центре очень мне пригодились книги серия книг, прям целая о детях. Это и как благополучно воспитать ребенка, и как сформировать стержень в ребенке, и как не воспитать из ребенка овоща, и возрастные особенности детей от 3 до 18. Поэтому это потрясающие, уникальные книги, которые действительно показывают принципы, как воспитывать ребенка на христианских ценностях, как воспитывать ребенка так, чтобы дети нашим благословением, а не проклятием.
Like I said, I have a children's center, and this children's center is based on the books of Pastor Sunday. Pastor Sunday has about 10 books for children, for bringing up children, parenting, children upbringing, 10 books. So all these books are the books that are the foundation of our school. So we use all those books and we take the principles from them, and they are the basis for everything that we teach in our school with all our 25 faculties.
Еще одна потрясающая книга, о которой я хочу обязательно сказать, потому что при создании нашего центра главный вопрос: где взять деньги, где взять деньги, где взять деньги. А оказывается, уже есть книга «Где взять деньги на твою мечту». Но в этой книге самое главное — это не где взять деньги, а это правильно сформировать свою цель и прописать бизнес-план, и все спланировать, и тогда деньги появятся.
Another book that I must definitely talk about, that I have to talk about, is the book that is called, because when I was starting my project, when I was starting my center, of course, as a single lady with a child, and I left my lover, no money, nothing to start with. But then I didn't know Pastor had already taken care of that as well. He had written a book that is called How to Find Money for Your Projects. How to find money for your projects. So this book of Pastor, How to Find Money for Your Projects, wow, that was absolutely unbelievable. So after I read that book, I knew exactly what to do to get money. Now that book, How to Find Money for Your Project, doesn't tell you where to go get money, but it tells you how to build a system, build a structure, build your financial plan, build your business plan, build your vision, contact the right people, just the structure of how to go from where you are right now to where the money is, how to find the people who have the money, how to talk to them, and how to present the case to them, how to make your case, just everything that is needed. And that's how we are able to build our center.
И я хочу обратить ваше внимание, что каждая книга пастора Сандея — это уникальные книги. Они формируют сразу несколько разных качеств в вас. Даже прочитав одну книгу, вы уже поймете, и как быть дисциплинированным, и как быть здесь и сейчас, и как начать жить на все 100, и как быть человеком качества. И самое главное, каждая книга, она будет увеличивать объем вашей личности, и вы будете становиться действительно настоящими людьми, людьми, с которыми захотят сотрудничать любые люди в любых сферах, даже люди в Верховной Раде, даже президенты, я вам гарантирую.
Every one of Pastor Sunday's book is a revolutionary. Every one of his books are just life-changing, and you need to get them to develop yourself, to have the right perspective to life. So you need to get those books to be able to, for you to become who you need to become. And by the time you need to, but most important thing those books do for you is that they help you to build up your value, to add value to yourself. So by the time you've added value to yourself, then, you are in demand. So you need to build yourself to be in demand. And that's what Pastor Sunday's books have done for me. And now I'm in demand even by the parliament of the country, by the people in the government, by the people from president's administration of our country. So just build yourself up by the content of those books and you will be in demand. Everybody will be looking for you.
Елла, пастора скоро буде день народження, це вже через 2 тижні. Скажіть, будь ласка, що для вас означає його ювілей? Які у вас враження складаються?
So what will you say about Pastor Sunday's birthday? It's going to be 50 in 2 weeks.
Насправді пастор ще дуже молодий.
I think Pastor is still quite young.
І дуже красивий.
I think he's quite handsome too.
І насправді не віриться, що вже 50.
It's unbelievable that it's 50.
Але я хочу сказати, що 50 – це якраз та дата, коли ти вже багато чого досяг, вже багато мудрості, але ще все попереду.
50, at 50 you are matured, at 50 you've grown up, but you still have a lot ahead of you.
І я хочу ще віддячити пастору за те, що він заснував і почала існувати Духовна академія Ісус Навін.
I want to thank Pastor for what he has done so far, that he's been here, and that he started everything he started, especially with the Joshua Generation Bible School that he started here in Ukraine.
Це незвичайна духовна академія, тому що тут формуються не тільки священнослужителі, а ще й місіонери, лідери, люди, які йдуть в різні сфери держави.
That school is a place where Pastor Sunday raises up missionaries, and not just missionaries, but people for different spheres of life. So people begin to discover their spheres of life thanks to that school.
Мені дуже пощастило, я в цьому році навчаюся в Духовній академії Ісус Навін.
I am still a student right now this year. I'm studying in Joshua Generation Bible School.
І я хочу сказати, що я придбала багато нових знань.
And I want to say I've really received a lot from that school.
І ще ми навчилися писати і проводити проекти.
And we have started, in that school they're teaching us how to build project, how to start a project.
І я хочу вам показати, що нещодавно ми провели такий унікальний проект.
As part of my project, I started this program here.
Він незвичайний,
It's a unique program.
Тому що він присвячений для мам особливих дітей, дітей з особливими потребами.
So this is a talk show and a program like for parents who have disabled children. So we have this program that we are doing for mothers and parents that are living with disabled kids. So we reach out to them, and that's thanks to the fact that I'm in that school. You have to find a problem in the society, a need in the society that you want to meet. And this was the need that I had passion for, and we just did that program recently.
І якраз в цьому ток-шоу ми хотіли підтримати мам. Ми хотіли показати, що вони не самі, що це...
We needed to support these mothers and to tell them that they are not by themselves, they are not alone. And we wanted to give them all the support, and the society is with them. The fact that they are having disabled children doesn't mean that they are disabled too. And it doesn't mean that they are worse than anybody. It is their difference, and that difference could make them to be celebrated. And it is where they are different from other people. That's where their strength is. It's not where their weakness or their inadequacies are.
Ми хотіли показати, що кожна дитина і кожна людина, вона унікальна, і всі люди мають право жити, любити, творити і діяти.
So we wanted to just show these ladies and these mothers that they are not worse than anybody because they are having disabled children, and that they are as loved, they are as important to God, and they deserve to be loved, they deserve to be celebrated, and they deserve to be to be celebrated in the world.
І не випадково ми додали ще «Я мама особливої дитини, чому я щаслива?». Ми хотіли показати, що саме щасливими жінки можуть бути тоді, коли буде їх дитина розвинута, їх дитина буде щаслива. І для цього ми запрошували різних експертів, щоб показати мамам, що вони не самі, що ця проблема вирішується.
And it is very important to always to give this kind of women that is needed so that they will know that they are not alone. You know, sometimes when you are having a disabled child, you might think that you are the most unfortunate person in the world. You might think that, that you are unlucky. You might think that, you are alone in your sorrow or in your situation. You might think even sometimes that God has forgotten you, or that people they don't care for you. So that's why we must reach out to them to show to them that we care and that they matter and that somebody is thinking about them and that they are not worse than anybody else because they have a disabled child.
І коли ми хотіли провести цей проект, то ми хотіли просто привітати мам, по-перше. А пізніше, коли я почала молитися, Господь дав мені слово, що потрібно робити, коли ти робиш пір, клич сліпих, хромих і убогих, тих, хто дійсно потребує допомоги. І тоді я зрозуміла, і ми почали молитися, і я зрозуміла, що це саме Божий план. Почали прикладатися люди, експерти, які навіть нас не знали, які тільки бачили десь в Фейсбуці, чи якось по спілкуванню з іншими людьми. І все це здійснилося. Це точно Божий план. І коли ви в Божому плані, все складається причудово. Тому що ми проводили вже це ток-шоу в приміщенні Верховної Ради України.
Another thing that what actually motivated me to start this project for parents and mothers of disabled children is because I read in the scripture that who Jesus really cares about most are those people who are disadvantaged. Not people like us that we don't really have much problem, that are doing well. But Jesus said that when I was sick, you didn't visit me. When I was in the prison, when I was hungry, when I was naked. So that is telling us that Jesus wants us to pay attention, that our priority should be those people who are disadvantaged in life. He said we should take care of widows, we should take care of orphans, we should take care of foreigners. So Jesus is trying to focus our attention to people that feel that they have been neglected, that they are not needed. So that's why I said, no, I shouldn't just do this ministry just to do it as another ministry, but I should do it with the best intention, as if I was doing it to Jesus. Because that's what Jesus said. If you do it to the least of this, you do it for me. I'm the one you didn't feed. I'm the one you came to visit in the hospital. I'm the one you gave food to eat. I'm the one you came to see in the jail. And so we began to advertise this event. We began to talk about it everywhere, put it on Facebook. And you know what we discovered? We discovered that many people who are just ordinary people, businessmen and other people who are just successful people, they are also interested in helping these franchise people. These franchise people like disabled people or just anybody that is in bad shape. They would like to help, but they don't know how to do it, and they don't know who is involved in doing that. So when they heard that we want to do this thing for the mothers of disabled kids, and we started having all kinds of help from everywhere. So people started by themselves showing interest that they would like to help as well. These ones would like to help. At the end of the day, you can't believe what happened. Our parliament, the parliament of our country, gave us the permission of the parliament to host the event there, Can you believe this? It is the parliament of the nation that hosted our event. So we took, and these people were the people who were neglected, who felt like left out. And some of these parents, nobody had ever paid attention to them. They have always been in depression. They've always been in their own world. And, they never see anything. They only saw their tragedy. They only saw their sick children. They only saw their disabled family children. They were crying day and night. And now, they had their own outing. And their outing was immediately to the highest seat of power in the country. And they were all invited and hosted by the parliament of the country. There were many people who were even well-to-do, who are very successful, cannot go to the parliament just like that. But here they were, and they were speaking in the parliament, and they were being received by the lawmakers of the country, by the most powerful people in this land. So that's what God does. When you step out to do something for God, God will step out and come across and do even more for you.
І це стало можливо тільки завдяки пастору, завдяки тому, що є така чудова духовна академія Ісус Навін, завдяки нашим студентам, завдяки пасторам, пастору Мілі, пастору Руслану, пастору Марині, пастору Олені. Дякую всім, що ви нас навчили проводити такі заходи, навчили нас сміливо йти в різні кабінети, розмовляти з людьми, з якими ми раніше навіть і не думали розмовляти. І ця сміливість саме завдяки тому, що пастор нас вчить бути такими, що саме ми можемо йти і дійсно творити те, для чого Господь нас.
So what am I saying? Pastor is pushing us and is making us to believe in great things, to believe in ourselves and to step out to do great stuff. And I want to thank the people in the Bible school that Pastor started that have taught us to do these things, all my teachers, all my lecturers, and people who gave us the subject, the assignment to do this project. And so, but if Pastor had not pushed us, none of these things would have happened. But because I reached out to minister to the disabled people, they became a platform for me. I thought I was helping them, but because I announced it and made it popular, now it became a platform for me to be able to even reach people who are the lawmakers of the country, to be able to go to the parliament, because I wanted to serve them. Now they became a platform for me through which I began to meet with people I never knew it was possible to meet with before. So when you step out to do something for the least of this, you are actually helping yourself as well. It's not just you are sacrificing, but you are actually, God is going to open more doors for you to even be exalted and promoted.
І у пастора є великі надбання, і 50 мати стільки – це дуже причудово.
So this, like Pastor Sunday's 50th birthday, he has a lot of things to fall back to. He has a lot of things to be proud of, but this is just the beginning. He has many more things to come.
На завершення нашої сьогоднішньої зустрічі, що ви бажаєте пастору з нагоди його дня народження?
What would you like to wish Pastor for his birthday?
Дякую. Дорогой пастор,
Dear Pastor,
я желаю вам
I wish
крепкого здоровья.
I pray that you will be more healthy. You will be healthy.
Я желаю вам и дальше слышать Господа.
I pray that you will keep on hearing the voice of God like you've always done.
Я желаю вам двигаться в Его воле.
I pray that you will always, seek to do His will.
И что бы ни говорили, исполнять Его волю там, где Он вас, туда, куда Он вас направляет.
That you will keep on fulfilling His purpose everywhere He leads you, despite opposition, despite people's reaction, that you will be obedient to His leading.
Мы вас очень любим.
We love you so much.
И, конечно, хотим задержать в Украине.
And we want you to remain in Ukraine.
Но самое главное — Господь.
But we've got to put God's will first.
И я знаю, что Он дал очень великое, очень мощное, очень сильное видение для того, чтобы распространялось Его Царство по всему миру. И поэтому я желаю вам, дорогой пастор, распространять влияние Божье по всему миру.
So, Pastor Sunday, I just want to wish you a happy birthday and wish you that you continue to grow stronger and to expand the influence of the kingdom of God to the ends of the earth.
Конечно же, желаю добра и благополучия, и любви, и семейного счастья. Но это все прилагается, конечно, потому что Господь сказал: ищите же прежде Царствия Божьего, а все остальное вам приложится.
And as you be fulfilling the will of God, seeking the purpose of God, all of that things shall be added to you, Pastor. In your family, joy, peace, harmony, everything that is needed, that people say will be added, will also be added to you.
А вы как раз и показываете, как его искать. Ищите прежде Царство Божьего, все остальное вам приложится.
Pastor, you have taught us and you are teaching us how to find the will of God, how to seek God and fulfill His purpose. And so we believe that the will of God will be fulfilled in your life as well.
С днем рождения, дорогой пастор.
Happy birthday, my dear pastor.
Совершите еще много-много.
You will do even greater things for Him.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ну що ж, дорогі глядачі, ви ще раз переконалися, що унікальність пастора Сандея є практичною, тому що ці історії, які ви чуєте, вони живі і вони справжні. І це говорить про те, що говорить пастор Сандей, це все діє у житті наших людей, які міняються.
So you see all the practical things and changes that Pastor Sunday is bringing to the lives of people, and that shows you that's the best proof of Pastor Sunday's life.
Дякую вам, Елла, що ви сьогодні до нас прийшли,
Thank you
поділилися.
so much, Ella, that you came today.
Спасибо, что пригласили.
Thank you for inviting me.
И я хочу сказать, что если вы что-то думаете о пасторе и не знаете его, приходите и познакомьтесь.
If you have been thinking of Pastor Sunday anyhow, good or bad, well, why don't you come and get to meet him? Come and get to meet him.
Ми сьогодні кажемо вам до побачення, а завтра ми знову зустрінемося з черговим свідченням про роль пастора Сандея в житті наших людей. А сьогодні ви ще зустрінетеся з пастором через 45 хвилин, де зможете задати питання, але вже англійською і з Майовою.
Okay, Pastor Sunday is going to be back in the next 45 minutes to do the English program with Mayowa. So Mayowa is going to be the host for the next program in the next 45 minutes. Pastor is going to be back to answer your questions. That is the program where Pastor answers questions of everybody. So we're waiting for you in the next 45 minutes. And I personally will be back tomorrow with more Russians to give testimony of how their lives have changed thanks to Pastor Sunday's teaching.
Bye, see you. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Goodbye.
Bye. Spasiba. Thank you. Okay, guys, before we go, I wanted to remind you of the Belarusian guy, Eno, who gave me his shirt, and we wrote his address. He's a designer and a fashion designer, and he's there. We spoke about him in the beginning of the show. Go check him out. Thank you so much, and we'll see you in the next 45 minutes. God bless. Bye.